What is going on, everybody? It's your boy John, and welcome back to Gearbox. So today what I want to do is kind of create a little bit of a video around some sort of, not everyday maintenance, but every once in a while maintenance, or just things you should kind of look over when you get a chance, specifically as it relates to running air suspension. So for those who are new to the channel, I have recently, and by recently I mean maybe over the past, 2 months, maybe 2.5 months or so, been on a 3P airlift air suspension setup, true heart struts, and then, airlift tank and via air compressor and so on and so forth. I know I made a video in the past about my tank leaking. That's something we're going to touch on today as well, just stuff to look over. But really, I just want to do kind of a once over on my car, on the struts, on the tank, on the compressor, etc. And really mainly check for leaks and just make sure that everything is good to go. I don't really suspect anything is going on, but once again, just making sure those fittings are tight and making sure everything's holding air is obviously going to give you a much better experience on air suspension, as opposed to being stuck on the side of the road when your front right strut goes out because your shit was leaking or something. So anyway, we're gonna go ahead, kind of check all 4 corners of the car, and then we're gonna hop to the trunk and check everything out there. But once again, guys, this is something you should really be doing every once in a while, just to make sure that your suspension setup is kind of in tip-top shape, and especially if it's your daily driver, which mine is. I do not want to be stranded on the side of the road. So let's go ahead, get to it, and we'll go from there. Alright everyone, so if y'all did not see my last video when we were troubleshooting the air tank in the trunk here, this is going to be your best friend. So basically all this is soapy water. So what we're going to do, I have the struts up to my 4th ride height preset, so a little bit higher than what I would, my normal ride height, but I just wanted to have more than enough air in the struts to where if there is a leak, it'll be pretty visible. So what we're going to do, and I'll kind of adjust the camera angle here, but we're just going to spray this soapy water on all of the fittings, anywhere that air could potentially be leaking out of. And if it does start to, the way you'll know that your strut or your tank or whatever is leaking is once you spray it on there, it's going to create more bubbles. More air is coming out of the strut, therefore creating more bubbles. So what we're going to do, let's go ahead and totally mess this one up here. Alright. So we're gonna go ahead, we're gonna spray this puppy right here. We're gonna see what we got. Alright, so we're good there. Really there's no other place that it could potentially leak outside of the bag leaking, which would be really bad. But while we're down here, I just want to kind of check everything out, kind of make sure everything looks right. I have been having some sort of, I don't know what you call it, but let's, for lack of a better term, let's call it a knock or something. If I go full lock with the setup here, I'm thinking it's maybe like a lower control arm or something. It sounds like it's coming from this area, which is why I wanted to start here first. But regardless, as we're going over that, obviously that's something we should be taking into consideration. We have the wheel off, we have it up on a jack. Let's just go ahead and check shit out while we can. But as y'all can see, there's no extra bubbles there, so that's good. That sounds really fucking retarded. No bubbles. Also something to point out, you might see the water here. I just washed my car, so that's why. I'm not pissing fluid anywhere. But yeah, so I'm gonna go ahead, probably set up some B-roll. We'll do the other 3 corners here. There's currently a cat. I don't own a cat. So let's get this little bastard out of here. Yeah. I hate these damn cats around here. Anyway, enough of me rambling. Let's go ahead. I'm going to, once again, just respray that, make sure everything looks good. Go do the other 3 corners. We'll go back to the air tank, and then, yeah, we'll go from there. Pardon the interruption here real quick. Just wanted to kind of bring something up as well. When you do have the tires off, I always like to check the tread. It's pretty simple, pretty easy. Just take a look at it, you know, stick your finger in the groove, this sort of stuff right here. And what you might notice is I done got fucked up by something, but it's clearly in there as well. And that is not a part of the tire. But rest of that, I mean, tread depth looks really good and wearing evenly and so on and so forth. But just something I figured I'd throw in here when you're doing just maintenance in general. Don't make your life harder. Don't check for leaks one day and then check your tread depth the next. Just do it while you're, you know, being as efficient as possible. I'm glad I found this, I guess, but it's also kind of a bummer. But I just drove to Atlanta and back, and then to the lake house and back, so it's probably good. I mean, it's holding air. I hadn't had any issues with like a flat tire or anything, so. But anyway, I'll just have to get that checked out, unfortunately. But once again, it's kind of why we do this. So let's get back into the, you know, checking for leaks. All right, everyone. So we have got all 4 corners buttoned up here. No leaks, which is obviously a good thing. Once again, I never expected there to be a leak. But, you know, it's just something you should do. You should make sure that, you know, you're getting the proper amount of air or holding the proper amount of air. No different than oil levels, coolant levels, you know, brake fluid, etc. Just something good to do and make sure that your, you know, car and parts are performing to a level that they should, right? So next we're going to go into the trunk here, which if you saw my last video, I have had problems with this in the past. So if you're not familiar with my trunk setup, once again, Airlift 3P, we've got a Vi-Air single compressor and then a 5-gallon tank here. So what we're going to do, same exact thing to the struts, is we are going to go ahead and we are going to spray every single fitting, every hose, even on the compressor, and just make sure that everything's holding air and you're not going to have any issues with that. So let's go ahead and just start. We'll be very careful here. Nothing, 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 and now you can't see it, but nothing. All right, good there. Next, we will go over here, and we'll go here just for good measure. Here, nothing. Go up top here, nothing, nothing there, nothing there, nothing there. And while we're here, another good maintenance tip is to clear out your water trap. If you do not run a water trap on your air system, do it. Last thing you need is water getting in your bags. That would be problematic. So we'll go ahead, give her a little beep, beep. You see that water? That is thanks to the South Carolina humidity that you are seeing me struggle with right now because it is fucking humid. So anyway, let's go ahead. We'll keep going there. We've got one more down here. Everything looks good. And then if y'all recall from my last video, the problem child was this one right here. So let's go ahead and just see where we're at. Seems to be holding air. Go right there, there. Yeah, everything looks good to me. So yeah, guys, that's kind of the basic stuff you should be doing just every once in a while. Once again, it doesn't have to be once a day. It doesn't have to be once a week. I would say the most important thing, if you are running a water trap, is clear that puppy out. I mean, y'all saw, I probably cleared that out 4 days ago, maybe. And just the humidity here is stupid. So anyway, that's what you need to do. If y'all have any other suggestions of kind of maintenance items you should look over, I mean, obviously, like making sure bolts and shit are torqued down, important, but should be done the first time. But once again, still good to check it over. So yeah, I know this video is pretty, I guess, specific only to people that are running air, but this applies whether you have a WRX, a 370Z, an older like Coupe de Ville on air, you know, hot rod type shit. It really doesn't matter. You need to be doing this maintenance regardless. It's very, very important. Even though we didn't find anything today, that's what I like to hear, because that means your boy would have to be out here even longer, sweating my ass off. But no, we're good to go there. But as I've said 2 or 3 times already, I did not expect to find anything here, but for the sake of documentation for me, and for the sake of maybe teaching y'all kind of some tips and tricks and just going through that is extremely important. So we'll go back in here, continue to look. Actually, I need to check those 2 right there, which I will do here in a second. I'm thinking about adding a second compressor just as kind of a little FYI. Not totally sure if I will or not, but maybe down the road. I don't know. But anyway, guys, really appreciate y'all coming back to another episode of Gearbox. As always, give this video a big fat thumbs up. Hit subscribe, hit the notification bell, drop a comment down below if you liked what you saw or if you have any other suggestions for airlift maintenance. And until next time, peace.